Hello, welcome or welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. My name is Liz and I will be guiding you on this journey. We have a couple decks and as always, we're going to ask for consent from the deck that we're going to use for these readings because, we want to be sure that the deck even has a message, that it has the energy to give us a message. So I basically just shuffle until a yes or a no card comes out. And this is a deck that I was looking for. And it was like way in the back of this one shelf that I have all of my decks on that I've been kind of transferring to this other shelf. Anyway, in the process of finding it, a couple other decks went flying. So that was fun. I'm like, I know I'm not going through all of this just for you to say no to me. So, which it has the freedom to do. So, anyway, I was like, what am I talking about? I've been kind of doing a little disclaimer at the beginning, just so we're all on the same page. We have the star. That's a yes card. Okay, good. So, we'll save these two decks for another time. So yeah, disclaimers. I'm not a psychic. I'm certainly not claiming to be, but I know these cards and my intention is to give you the message as it is coming through on the card and as it's coming through for me. I always set the intention for the message to come through me, not from me. So however which way and as many different times that comes through, I do like to explain the message of each card because not only does it help me process my thoughts, but you have your own intuition. You're the one that's living your life. So no doubt you are going to receive your own message. Now, of course, be discerning. Don't try to fit a small peg into a round hole. Really listen to that distant voice, not the loud one, not that loud one that most of us have, but the one for me, it's always like off to the right back of my head. And, it's literally, it's like just, it's neutral. It's confident. It's like, it's free of, ego, emotion, all the things, right? So that is the voice that we want to tap into, even if we sometimes don't like what it is saying. Of course, if you haven't already, I would absolutely adore you. Well, I adore you anyway, but I would adore you even more if you subscribe to my channel. Truly, it is an energy exchange. And of course it helps me grow. So it's, just this circle of, growth, because hopefully these messages are affirming or confirming for you, because sometimes too, we just need to have confirmation or affirmation that what we think is going on is actually going on. And that way it frees up the mind space. It frees up our energetic space to be able to focus on the next thing. And truly, I do think that at least the messages that I give are more so along those lines, so that you can be like, oh, okay, that is actually happening. So what's next, right? Like, what do I want to do with this? What can I now focus my time, my energy, my everything on, instead of like staying in this this loop of, is this happening or no? And with all that being said, I know I also didn't get around to the human design profile readings last time around. Life, we roll with it. So hopefully I'll be able to get around to those this time, because I'm sure those were missed. And okay, let's get into the reading. Great. So this is a reading for Leo. Wherever Leo shows up in your chart, I hope you're all doing well. let's see. For Leo, what do we got? What is this? I did this all through the Cancer. I'm going to do this through like probably all of the readings. The Four of Wands, I believe. Yeah. I haven't used this deck probably since like 2023. So thank you for not judging me. So we have the Four of Wands to start, which is a good start. That was operator error, so I'm not... The Knight of somebody. I want to say Swords. And the Lovers. The Empress at the bottom of the deck. The Lovers came out kind of sidewaysy, which is interesting because in the Cancer reading, the last card also came out sideways. Let's see. The Knight of Cups. That's what that is. And I opened right to it. So thank you. It's like it knew I was wrong. It's interesting because also just like the Cancer reading, this feels very relationship heavy, but of course, you know, relationship in the sense of with another person. So however that looks like for you, whether that is romantic, business, platonic, family, biological or chosen, you know, community in general, because the Four of Wands, let me just also make sure that's what that shit is. It is. So, the Four of Wands is about celebration. It generally does involve other people. There's a harmony and a union aspect to it. So it is sometimes said to be like the marriage card. And I mean, like, what is marriage anyway? It's the blending together of two things, whether it be people, energies, things, other nouns. So again, of course, you know, like take it how it fits. But wands have to do with action and the motivation behind the actions that we take, creativity, passion, desires, right? Like, how are we communicating those things? What actions are we taking towards those things? I also see wands as being information by way of experience, because that's what we get by trying things. We figure out what works. We figure out what doesn't work. What do we like? What don't we like? And truly, the only way to figure those things out is by trying them. So when we get to the Four of Wands, like, that's where we start feeling a sense of stability, you know, having a foundation. It's basically like that little checkpoint that says that the actions that you have taken thus far from the ace, right? Because it's, of course, the beginning of the suit of wands. The actions that you have taken have reaped some sort of reward. You're enjoying it. You have, you know, built something from it. You have a good foundation. And even too, that like you want to continue to do it. Like, it really does feel like a checkpoint to me for some reason. But it's also interesting because in this card, it looks like, you know, these rabbits are protecting this little baby down here. There's some carrots there. So maybe you need, what is that vitamin that's in carrots? Vitamin A, vitamin K, vitamin C, and B, beta carotene. Have you seen that TikTok? I think, was it Cassie? That chef that did it, like the ribbon carrot salad. I literally have 3 carrots in my fridge that has been there for weeks that I bought specifically to make that salad, and I haven't done it yet. But it's like literally just like you shave the carrots to make ribbons, and then I'm pretty sure it's just some soy sauce, some sesame seed oil, maybe chili crisp if you like spicy things. What else? Like garlic, probably, maybe some ginger, and sesame seeds. There's also this other thing going around about black sesame seeds are good for bone health, heart health, skin, rich in antioxidants. So, yeah, you know, maybe snack on some carrots, or make that make that carrot salad. Honestly, this is probably also too a thing for me to use those carrots before they go bad. So I'll also do that after I'm done making the video. So the book says a family of rabbits snuggle together in their burrow beneath a festive banner, enjoying the bounty of their harvest. The Four of Wands signifies a period of happiness and stability. It heralds a celebration, happy times, and a harmonious home environment. Now is a perfect time to get together with family and friends and to share the warmth of your heart with others. The Four of Wands is one of the most positive cards in the tarot deck and heralds joy, accomplishment, and completion. I mean, it is summer. Like, maybe even like finding some festivals to go to, or concerts, or, like if you were on the fence about that for some reason, or just, I don't know, maybe that's a good idea to do that. And even like, to like foster even like your relationships, like not only just for you, but like for the connections that you have to bolster those. Like, I think we all just need more good times in our lives right now, because it's really shitty out there collectively, like so it's kind of like when you can find those moments to find joy, to find connection, to have a good time, even to like how that transmutes energy, not only just within yourself, but I truly believe that it transmutes energy of the collective also. So really, you'd be doing us all a favor. And we have the Knight of Cups afterwards, which all of these cards, it's so interesting how all of these cards literally have something to do like with another person or with relationship in some aspect. So maybe that is a priority for you, or just something that you find yourself focusing on, or manifesting in some type of capacity. And again, even like fostering the relationships that you do have, pouring a bit more energy into them. The Knight of Cups having to do with our emotions, how we feel about ourselves, about our lives, about the people in our lives, love, and our relationship to love. How do we give it, but more importantly, how do we receive it? It's very like heart chakra. The Knight of Cups is sometimes described as like a little delusional because they will lead with their heart. But like I said, right? I mean, like I feel like we need a bit more of like the healthy, the happy, the loving delusion, because I think that there is a lot of the opposite type of delusion, which is, you know, manipulation, narcissism, like psychopathic, you know, that type of delusion. So it's like, you know, I think we need like just again like the other side of that, which is love and creativity and imagination, compassion, right? Like empathy, giving people grace. Yourself included. The Knight of Cups too, like it's usually a messenger. There's usually an offer that comes along with the Knight of Cups too, whether you're the one that's on the receiving end of that offer or you're the one that is offering something. I feel like there's like this big emphasis on bees, right? Like, is that a bee? Let me see. Okay, did I like, oh, here we go. Motivation, inspiration, subconscious, practical application. The knight sails in a flying boat. See? Delusion, creativity, right? Like literally like allowing your imagination to expand. With her face turned towards Ursa Major, the bear constellation, the Knight of Cups often shows itself through an event or a person in your life. Typically, the Knight is a motivational wind or a sign of inspiration. Pay close attention to the messages your dreams may carry and delve into your creative passions. It is the time to uncover the wisdom of your subconscious and take lessons from the fantastic. However, be sure to apply them realistically. I mean, really, like, we really are only limited by our own capacity for love. Again, whether giving or receiving, what we believe is possible through love. And again, even like our imagination. Anytime like that comes up for me too, like I always do this little like practice of it's literally just like meditation, and in my mind I imagine this huge bubble, right? Like I'm like floating out in outer space, because truly we do not know the limits of space, right? I mean, like there's nothing, I don't think, and I'm not super, you know, educated and versed in this, but I don't think that there is something that has been able to measure the literally like where the universe ends, like where space ends, right? So, but here we are in our own little world, truly, right on Earth, like floating through this endless space. Like we're not just stationary, right? Not only are we spinning, but we're also flying, like the Big Bang, right? Like everything is expanding outward. So not only are we spinning, we're also still moving out. Anyway, which truly is like fucking mind-blowing to me in general anyway. But this is a little practice that I do like whenever this type of shit like comes up is, you know, I literally, it's kind of more of like a motivation. It's kind of more of a meditation. So I literally just imagine myself floating out in space, and I create this bubble that is around me, and inside that bubble are all the space that I have for literally anything that is possible, right? And truly, it starts off a little small, but it's like when you intentionally set that bubble out further. I mean, truly, like in your mind, you have this bubble around you, and in that bubble, that is all that you believe to be possible, right? Like, again, because we are limited by our own imagination. So if your imagination with your little bubble, like mine, is, kind of smaller, then I energetically allow myself to push it out 10 feet. Now there's all that more space for possibility, things to happen that I could have never imagined, miracles, whatever, good, bad, otherwise, right? Like surprises, truly, like the things that are for my highest good. Right now I have this much more space, and then I push it out another 50 feet. And I just keep doing that until I'm like, okay, I can't even see the boundaries of my bubble anymore. And I sit in there for a little while. And I'm like, okay, like there's this much space around me now. Hundreds and hundreds of, feet of space, literal space, right? And all I'm doing is being open to possibility, allowing there to be that much more space for creative possibility, for creative problem solving, for creative surprises, for love too, in whatever capacity that is. I'm so curious too about Ursa Major, Big Dipper. And, like when I first saw this card, it feels very like Moana. Like how I don't think she was following, she was following Maui's hook, or what is it? Fish hook. I thought there was a different name for it. Anyway, right, and it's like, again, there is this honestly a little bit of delusion too. Like she had no idea where she was going, right? Like she had no clue. Like all she knew was that if she kept her boat pointed at the fish hook, like in the sky, right, that she would find Maui. I mean, she did. So, like there's this sense of like trust, and even too, like whatever the Four of Wands would have to do with that, like it's even like maybe even being in the energy of celebration. And again, like because I was saying like transmuting energy, right? Like I mean, it's like you literally find your way. Opportunities could open up that you didn't even know existed. And maybe they come out of the blue. Maybe it's also too like a way of you deciding or figuring out like what direction you do want to head in. Like you get it out of your system even. Who knows? But it's interesting that the Lover's card comes out kind of sideways. This is Gemini. It feels like it's like working its way to upright. Anytime like when it comes out sideways and the top of the card is on the left side, it feels like to me like it's going clockwise and it's working its way to upright, versus if it were to come out this way where the top of the card was more on facing the right side, it would feel more reversed. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just how that happens, how that works in my head. But the Lover's card has to do with decisions and choices. It's almost too like a fork in the road. Like having multiple things to consider, because even to, Gemini is the twins. Like there's like no one solution maybe. And of course, if you go the literal route with lovers, it's again, like even connections. But it's the masculine and feminine energies, There's generally a masculine and a feminine presenting person on the Lover's card. So, the feminine represents intuition, birthing something into existence. Whatever that is, an idea, a creation, a craft, a person, an opportunity, right? Receiving too, not chasing, receiving. And then the masculine is initiating, hunting, protecting. It's like kind of that energy of like putting oomph into it. So it's, the dance, literally, these two are dancing, right? Between those two energies. And even like how, when we see like Latin dances, right? Like the man is usually leading the woman, but they're so in sync, and they're so, of course, like just by practice and proximity and repetition, right? But there's like this beautiful dance, literally, that like comes out of it, right? And like the discipline that it takes, and the trust even that it takes to get to that point. So again, like with this coming out kind of sideways, like there's like this teeter-totter kind of energy happening here, and maybe just not quite knowing which route, which way you want to go. Two lovers dance intertwined. The lovers represents those things that we associate most with love, such as partnership, commitment, sexual attraction, and passion. However, this card is also about choices. The lovers would have you consider that many facets of each choice you make in life, the same way you view your lover as more than an object of sexual attraction. Although this card may indicate that your love life is entering a stage of deep connections, it may also be encouraging you to examine your priorities and values so that you will be well equipped when a difficult choice arises. In the reverse, it says, the lovers now show that your inner voice may be leading you in contradictory directions. Perhaps a commitment you've made has turned sour, or one side of the relationship is failing. You may need to identify and work out this issue, or remind yourself why the commitment was made in the first place. Aligning one's values can be difficult, but the effort will be worthwhile. I honestly feel like Leo has been going through something with relationships for a while. Whether you're in a relationship, looking for one, putting yourself out there, like with the lovers being in this position, it just doesn't necessarily feel like resolved yet. Or still, again, like decisions need to be made. I was going to say choices need to be made, but I was like, what? I don't know if that makes sense. And then we have the the Empress at the bottom of the deck. And the Ace of Cups behind that. The Empress is in Venus. The Empress is Venus. Venus is in Taurus right now. So this card represents Taurus and Libra. But this is like the divine feminine. So it's interesting that on the Lover's card, it's both, right? The feminine and the masculine energies. And then at the bottom of the deck, we have the Empress, which is the divine feminine. So maybe the answer or solution or whatever it is going to be found in your feminine. Again, the energy, not necessarily the gender. All the things that we just talked about with the feminine energy, right? Like intuition, beauty, relationship, I was just like thinking of Venus. The Empress is generally depicted as being pregnant, which, I mean, of course it would be a good omen for that if you are looking to expand your family. But pregnancy is about, like I was saying, creation, literally birthing something out of your own image, creating something if it doesn't exist. Opportunities, abundance, nurturing. I mean, they're holding this flower in their hand here, growing something. The Empress crouches amidst the ferns, letting her life force flow into a glowing flower. The Empress represents the Earth Mother. She is the embodiment of fertility, femininity. I saw the word fertility and then, anyway, she is the embodiment of femininity and the bringer of new life and growth. Her energy is both nurturing and sensual. She takes delight in seeing other beings flourish and thrive, and fills all things with pleasure and deep fulfillment. If the Empress appears, okay, I'm losing my words, I apologize. It is a sign that you should take some time to focus on creative expression and the sensual world. Finding a way to devote yourself, whether to another person or to a creative project, is what will benefit you right now. I feel like creativity is a big thing here. Expansion, like even, I was talking about that meditation, like expanding your bubble, expanding your realm of possibilities. And too, I mean, that would even create space for connections to come into your bubble if you push it out further, right? Like, and of course, I mean, setting the intention that literally, I mean, not just anything can come through that shit, right? Like we don't want to just have an open door. So, even like creating, and I'm glad this came up, like, putting a protection, like literally just setting the intention that your bubble is protected. And the only energy that is allowed to penetrate that bubble is the energy, the connections, the people, the experiences, the opportunities that are for your highest good and for the highest good of the most people involved, right? Like, we are not open to just any type of shit. Whereas, like, in the past, maybe we would have been, right? But now it's being more intentional. It is protecting yourself against fuckery, and also, though, like, not completely closing yourself off to like literal surprises, literal miracles, to things literally just falling in your lap. I love it. I'm leaving it there. Thank you so much for allowing me to read your cards. I will talk to you soon. Bye.